Good morning again, guys. Still Friday, still me. So, I didn't think there was going to be a part 2 to this morning's video, but things happen, and apparently we have more to talk about on this one. Now, y'all know the far left leanings of the current resident of the White House, and all the just idiocity coming out of his mouth and his ideas and whatever it was. I mean, we talked a little bit last week about his nomination to run the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And, the guy is staunchly anti-Second Amendment. How the hell you can run the ATF and be against the Constitution, especially the part that directly relates to the job you want, I have no idea, okay? For all I know, the next thing he's going to do, because you got to get the alcohol and tobacco part in there, so why not restart prohibition and, just make, alcohol illegal or cigarettes illegal or, my vice. But that was the prelude to this one. This was classic, and this came out, at least I don't know when this all started, but I just found out about it today. So Potato Joe's nominee to run the Bureau of Land Management, okay? He has no BLM. BLM basically handles all the public lands. I mean, I've got a lot of BLM land around me, Tennessee Valley Authority, Bureau of Land Management. It's the public lands, the forests, the lakes, any of the public land, the mountains, Rocky Mountains are BLM land, okay? So, it's not privately owned. So his nominee is a woman by the name of Tracy Stone Manning, okay? And this is classic neoliberalism, okay? She is, if you remember I'd say the 1980s, maybe 1990s, maybe even 1970s, the tree huggers in California chaining themselves to trees and things like that. That's this chick, okay? To give you a little bit on her background, and I mean, again, this is the nominee to run BLM, okay? She was involved in what's known as tree spiking, okay? This is basically eco-terrorism. Tree spiking is when you drive a metal spike or a ceramic spike or something like that into a tree to make it deadly to log the tree. Okay, and by log, I mean, cut it down, okay? Because if you've ever used a chainsaw or something and you hit a piece of metal in there or whatever, it doesn't go too well, all right? It'll dull your blade real quick if you hit a nail or something like that. But you have a 1-inch, railroad spike or something like that in a tree and you don't know it's there, break the chain real quick, chain come wrap around, hit you, you're toast, okay? So, this is, she's participated into very, very dangerous to other human beings' lives as part of her environmental protection theory, okay? So that just gives you a little basis on her, all right? But to give you more, okay, in her graduate thesis, all right, and again, environmental studies or whatever the hell it was that she got her master's in, I think it was, she described American children as an environmental hazard. This is the type of person that Potato Joe is putting up in our government, okay? She had run an advertising campaign, okay, where it was a poster and had a picture of a baby in it. And the advertisement said, can you spot the environmental hazard in this photo? And the response was, that's right, it's the cute baby. Americans believe that overpopulation is only a problem somewhere else in the world, but it's a problem here too. The earth is only so big and we can tap into it only so often. In America, we tap in often and hard. We breed more than any other industrialized nation. At the same time, we suck up 1/3 of the world's energy. On average, each of us gobbles up the same energy as 3 Japanese, 13 Chinese, or 499 Ethiopians. When we overpopulate, the Earth notices it more. Stop it too. It could be the best thing you do for the planet. Okay. Seriously. I don't know how the hell she ever got through high school, let alone a bachelor's degree, let alone to get a master's, okay? Because her statistics that she's quoting here are completely wrong, okay? No, we don't believe overpopulation is a problem only somewhere else in the world. We believe it's not a problem anywhere in the world, okay? People are allowed to have children if they want. The earth is only so big. Yes, I will give you that. They're not making any more land, okay? We breed more than any other industrialized nation. False, okay? At the same time, we suck up 1/3 of the world's energy. False, okay? On average, each of us gobbles up the same energy as 3 Japanese, 13 Chinese, or 499 Ethiopians. Can't speak for the Ethiopians, but for the Chinese and the Japanese, false, okay? But somehow, this was her master's thesis, and they gave it to her. I can create all sorts of fictional figures, too. You know, why don't you give me a PhD in who knows what, okay? But this goes right into what I was saying earlier this morning. This is depopulation, move everybody out of the rural areas, okay? I mean, BLM. I mean, if you've all seen the maps on what they want to do, I showed it to you ages and ages ago, where the World Economic Forum, the New World Order, all this stuff that the Biden administration is fully participating in. Don't kid yourself and think, oh, they're not part of it. They're 100% part of it, okay? They want to move everybody out of like the areas I live and congregate us all in the cities, okay? They want us to depopulate because they know they can't fit 335 million people in all the cities. So they need to reduce the population and let my property, my neighbor's property, and anybody who lives in something like me go back to being wild. Not happening, people, okay? This chick is the epitome of everything that's wrong in the current government, okay? I don't know how her confirmation hearings are going to go, anything of the sort like that. No idea. We haven't even got that far. But when you get somebody who is calling children environmental hazards and telling families how many kids they can have, does that sound anything like, oh, I don't know, China, where they've been on the one kid only deal for, the last few decades? And in case you didn't know, if you wonder why there's such a overdominance of men in China, it's because if a family gets pregnant and the baby's a girl, they abort the baby and try again until they can have a boy, okay? Because they were on a one-kid policy, all right? Imagine the same thing happened to in the United States. Somebody like her, now granted, she's not in an ability to make a decision like this, where to say you can only have 2 kids, she's just merely suggesting it, okay? But if you don't think the administration isn't going to kind of follow along with it, screw them. I look back in history and, you look at, in the United States history, okay, something that, God forbid, the Democrats ever look at. Why did people have large families? Because that was more hands to work the farms, okay, to feed everybody. Because any of y'all that are gardening, like I am, okay, and I've got a decent sized gardening, nothing huge. It takes a lot of time for me and Mrs. P to do it, all right? Now, if you were farming on a grand scale, like most people had to in most of world history, you needed more hands to do it. And you didn't hire somebody because they were growing food for themselves. So you had more kids. The American dream was 2 kids, a house, and a car. If you want to have more, that's entirely up to you. Financially, hey, that's your decision. Okay, kids are, I think the last story was $400,000 to raise between birth and 18. Okay, if you want to have 5 kids, have 5 kids. That's your right. No pencil pushing, tree hugging, moronic, felon, terrorist liberal is going to tell me or tell anybody, not that I'm having any more kids, but should be able to tell anybody how many kids they can have. Okay, and to call children an environmental hazard, lady, I hate to tell you this, you're environmentally dead. Okay, I'm sorry, there has to be activity going on in here for you to be considered a living being. You don't have any there. So just another one, guys. Maybe write your congressman yet again and tell them, left or right, and tell them we don't need an eco-terrorist in our government. Have a good day. Pinball out.